Hi everyone, and welcome to Club Live here at Club at 22, the Rangers podcast. We are live on YouTube as always, so get your comments in. We'll do our best maybe to answer a couple of questions tonight. I'll get maybe Ross to start a couple of questions and maybe answer them later on in the show. Mr. Carney's not here for the second Friday in a row, I think. So
Unheard
yes,
of.
he's not. I know, I was about to say. So he's left it to us to see if we can get through another Friday night without him. So, yes, I have a full house without Mr. Carney. But first of all, Ross McLean, how are you? You were in very close to the Pilzen game the other week, but you weren't at the Pilzen game. How was it?
That I was. Good evening, gents. Yes, it was very, very good. Last week I was away in Prague with the younger brother for a concert on Tuesday night. Literally, I was an hour away from where we were playing. It was unfortunate timing. If I wasn't going to the gig, I'd be at the game. But in hindsight, I'm glad that I stayed and listened to some music for a few hours. But it's good to be on, gents. The 3-man band, Staunch Direction, I heard they're calling us. So yeah, we'll see how we get on tonight. And hello to everybody in the chat. It is good to see everyone as always.
Yeah, you definitely missed nothing during the week with Rangers. Did you see any Rangers fans when you were over there? I bet you must have bumped into a few of them.
Loads on the way home, tons on the way home.
Was it?
I was representing on the way there and the way back. Yes, there was plenty of bears and a few hanging. I'll say that. But that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about.
It is, especially the way Rangers are playing at the moment. You think you need a few beverages to get through the game, to be fair. I know you're teetotal, Ross. But aye, last but not least, Scotia. How are you this fine Friday night? You ready for Rangers tomorrow again?
Oh, evening, Ali. Evening, Ross. I've had better days, to be honest. I started my day off very early this morning, walking along in work and tripping over a drain and going flying.
Did you?
And it was one of those ones I didn't even check to see I was all right. I looked up to make sure that no one was around to see me doing it, and thankfully there wasn't. But apart from a few wee scrapes, I'm all good, yes. And would I say looking forward to seeing Rangers tomorrow? I will get into that this evening.
I would have loved to see you trip over a drain, Gemmell. I've seen several stuff with Scotia. On the way back via Ibrox one day, we were walking back down Paisley Road, and there's a lamppost that, I don't know why, I'll give Scotia semi-credit. For some reason, it sits in the middle of the pavement. And Scotia, I think, looked back for a second, turned round. I know you heard that dong. Scotia's face smacked a lamppost. And he wasn't bevied as well, so that was a good one. But aye, glad you're well, Scotia, and you've made it onto the podcast. I think that's dedication after getting tripped up by a drain. You get a game for this Rangers team, by the way. But aye, moving on from that, the Pilsen game, me and Mr. Carney done a post-match reaction after the game. Ross, first of all, the team came out. The only real change was Aaron's, whatever you want to say. He says Aaron's. Wasn't he fit enough, so Tav played, and Raskin started. And apart from that, it was pretty much the same. Were you is that the sort of team you thought you would play? Raskin over, what's his chops? Rothwell?
Yeah, I think so. The one thing we mentioned last week is that Raskin's here to play football. He's a big asset for us, and he'll want to be playing a lot for his value, especially. So it's good to see him come back in. A lot of people calling out for that. And yeah, it was interesting seeing Ian's dropped. I know that Tav's an experienced head. I didn't know if they were going to try and just go for the jugular and maybe bring Tav on later on, but he went with Ian. He went with Tav, sorry, and it was what it was. I will kind of caveat things with I haven't seen the full game back. I've seen obviously the important bits or the not so important bits, depending on which side of the fence you're on. And defensively, there's a lot to discuss. I don't think Tav was the fault of it. I think there's a certain left-sided part of the defence which we'll come on to. But the team was strong enough. Leo Cameron as well, getting a start, well deserved. And yeah, it looked on paper, mate, to be more than enough to get the job done.
Yeah, Scotia, I know you watched the game because we were all in the group chat, obviously, but the first half in particular, me and Carney were going about, well, we're saying in the group chat as well, how slow Rangers were on the ball, ponderous on the ball, not moving it quick enough, giving it away too easily. Never had real control against, let's be honest about it, Pilzen weren't that great a team. We made them look good, to be honest. But what was your thoughts on the first half for Rangers? Because it's a first half we've seen quite a lot this season and last season too. They don't seem to start Rangers.
Yeah, I mean, Ali, I'm going to have to caveat this one by saying, although I was watching the game, I bought the game twice, actually. I bought it through Rangers TV, had issues going abroad, and then bought it through Solid Sport, and then had issues with them having to rebuffer it every kind of couple of minutes, and on top of that, I had another thing on as well, so I was kind of half watching it out the other screen. But from the bits and pieces that I did see, we didn't look great in that first half. In fact, we got worse as the game went on as well. I felt in certain areas of the pitch, but in the first half, no, look, you seen the team lineup, and that was a team lineup. I was like, no, right, that should be quite good. We played them the week before, and we looked good against them the week before, and I was like, no, I'd quite like to see how this team plays. And very quickly, the team kind of just settled into, unfortunately, the way we've been playing since the start of the season, and all this possession-based football, but possession-based football between the centre-backs and the centre-backs to the deep-lying midfielder, and then back again, and then back to Butland, and then it's all this, and it's not very exciting to watch. It's not great, and you give this team confidence to go into the game because of what we're doing, I felt, from the bits and pieces that I've seen.
Yeah, me and Carney said exactly that, Scotia, in terms of I didn't think they were a great team, but Rangers were giving them the belief that they could be in the game. Ross, at the moment, they play this game from out the back, Rangers. Against Pilsen, they got up the park a few times and they had a chance to play balls to go forward, but choose to go back. It's slow, ponderous, as I say. It's not great to watch. And there's certain players at the moment who, for me, need to be pulled out of the team. One guy in particular, what I'll talk about, me and Carney touched on him, and he's a guy I thought we would see the best of this season. I said we might see him go to another level with better players around him. Diamandi the other night was awful, absolutely awful. Couldn't control a ball, couldn't pass a ball, all over the shop. He's been a major disappointment for me, Diamandi, this season, because I honestly thought, because you've seen him last season in big games, the player in him. But he's not started the season at all for me, Diamandi, and he's a guy that I think deserves to be dropped going forward. I don't think he wants a jersey at the moment.
No, I wouldn't say so. No, it is an unfortunate one. We know the quality he's got, as you say, but I will say, though, that our options in midfield at least were a bit more top-heavy there, and it does give us an opportunity to play some other players. Obviously, very exciting news, the fact that Asgard is coming back. You've also got the likes of Rothwell in there. Will this be good for Rask and maybe dropping Diamandi so he can go a bit further forward? Will it be good for Lyle Cameron, give us a moment, as we say, could he get into the squad? So there's plenty of options in the midfield to fill that potential gap. Listen, players will come and go with their form. It's natural. And Diamandi is a guy who, when you watch him, he's very much box to box. He does a lot of running, and he's had I'm sure a pretty hellish pre-season. So, and I understand the professional footballers, that's their job, but it might just be a case of the guy giving him a few rests, and it might actually do them all the good. Tomorrow's a perfect opportunity, so let's get some players in that we want to see that we maybe haven't seen in a few weeks. But Diamandi, for me, we know he's got quality. I'll persevere with him. I do think he can be a good player for us. It's just getting that form up, as you say. But I did hear that the passing, especially, was not up to par. I'll say that politely. That was the report cards from Tuesday night.
Yeah, and he wasn't the only one, but he stood out for me in the midfield because he gave the ball away so many times. Lyle Cameron for me was the only one that really gambled a lot of the time, would make forward runs, and nobody looked up to to play the pass, and he finally got his reward in a goal later on in the game. But Scotia, Diamandi, it's so disappointing. But is it the way we're playing? Does it suit Diamandi? Because at the moment, for me, that the midfield three, if you want to say, it just doesn't look right at all. And he's tinkered with it now and again. But he's, apart from the Pilzen game at Ibrox, that's the first time I thought, right, I can. It looked more of a balanced midfield, but I don't know. He's thinking about it too much. Is Asgard the missing piece? We don't know. But Diamandi, I just don't know where he fits in this midfield at the moment.
Yeah, the word disappointing for the start that Diamandi's had for the season's probably a correct one. He's not been as good as I was hoping he was going to be. Now that he's had like the year kind of settle and stuff, and thinking, right, go on. Because I thought when you looked at the start of the season, and even the players that were brought in, the middle of the park was probably our strongest kind of area. The one that we all said we were probably least concerned about in terms of bringing players in. But you kind of hit the nail on the head there with it's the midfield working, because we'll probably talk about like the kind of whipping boys or people that are becoming whipping boys in the team, and well, yeah, he obviously didn't really have much contribution to the game on Tuesday night there, but other places like in defence up front that everyone moans about, but for me right now the midfield just doesn't seem to be clicking. And it's a worry. The whole team, there's things wrong with it everywhere at the minute, and it's exposing the weaknesses that you're seeing in the midfield with the way that we're trying to play. Is then exposing people that are playing further back. It's exposing people that are further forward that they're not contributing. It's like all these parts of a whole aren't meshing together very well at the minute. I think it really needs to change quickly, because it's been a pretty horrendous start to the season. I mean, I know we're going into the Champions League playoff round, but for me, it's been a bit of probably the worst start to the season I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, it's we'll come on to it later in terms of Russell Martin's start to his Rangers career, but it's been disappointing. You were kind of building up all season for this new team, and it's kind of, I said to Karen, it's kind of flat to deceive, to be honest. And you go to Ibrox at the moment, and it's dull at the moment to watch them. It's dull watching them on the telly. Yeah, it's not exciting. But yeah, Ross, moving on. We're not spending a night of bashing players, but I'm just singling certain players out who I just don't think showed it for me. The defence as well. Giga, I like Giga. I think Giga's decent. But again, during the week, the left-hand side was targeted. John Suter, who isn't a left-sided centre-half, again is told to bring the ball out with his feet. He never looks comfortable. He's caught quite a lot of the time, and it's not his fault. It's just the way he's been told to play. And then one of my pals, Jeffy, on the left-hand side, who we'll come on to in terms of transfer rumours. Once again, you must have seen a goal back, Ross, but I mean, I've seen this goal umpteen times against Jeffy. Defensively, he's absolutely woeful. His awareness is shocking. The guy just goes in behind, just the diagonal ball in behind him. He's all at sea, falls over, and it's a goal I've seen umpteen times with Rangers. And again, it showed to me that Jeffy is not good enough. I mean, Carney talked about we need to go in the transfer market. We desperately need a left-sided centre-half and a left-back now, and we'll come on to Jeffy. But the way we want to play out the back, it's just not going to work if that's our back four, if you want to say, with Aaron's Tav at his right back, Giga, Suter and Jeffy at the moment, because on the left-hand side defence, teams are targeting now. They know it's a weakness of Rangers, and they're not good enough. I feel sorry for John Suter to a point, because he's out of position. Scotia knows I don't think he's good enough to play for Rangers in the big games. I think he's a good squad player, but what's your thoughts on the defence at the moment? Because it is very shaky, and he put a ball in our box at the moment, and you're expecting the team to score against us.
You do, unfortunately, you do. At the start of the season, we brought in you brought in like Giga, you brought in Fernandez, you brought in Aaron's. It looked for strengthening from the back first, which we said all along. That's what your good teams do. They have a strong defence. There's still a lack of excuse me, still a lack of depth for me. I'd say especially that left side. The goal, yeah, it's not a pretty one to watch. I do think that we need to probably as a club look at it and go, right, okay, you've got half a month left. What can you seriously do now to strengthen the season? If I was to ask you lads, everyone in the chat, are we a league winning side yet? No, probably not. Probably not. So the next half of this month, we seriously need to not have any regrets ultimately going into the rest of the season. I know that your January window comes about, but we can't look at it that way. If we can get into the Champions League, you get that 40 million cash. The defence is seriously needing some surgery, that's for sure. So yeah, if Jeffy is a guy who there was a time last season where genuinely at the start he was player of the year potential. There was a good patch of form in him, and then just whatever it is unfortunate. I know that the lad's young, but you don't get that time up here, unfortunately. And it's been quite a few times you look at even like my head goes back to the Man U game. I know it's a different kettle of fish again, but there's a lot of situations that I'll just say if his name was James Tavernier, he'd be absolutely slaughtered. So it's just the way it is. Unfortunately, don't get a lot of time up here. And left back, especially with the strange scenario with Ridvan Yilmaz just now, you need one, if not two, left backs for me. So yes, there's plenty on the shopping list. So we need to get to the shops, as I say.
Yilmaz. I think he's in Ryan's garage. That's what he is, Yilmaz. He's not away to Turkey. Yeah, we'll go on to players in and out because the Rangers have a lot of players to get out. We've got 2 weeks to get rid of some of them, and it's easier said than done. But yeah, at the end of the day, Scotia, the whole point of knockout football is to get to the next round. Doesn't matter how you do it. It wasn't pretty to see by Rangers. You thought after Dundee they might show something. They didn't. I thought in patches they showed wee bits. When they scored Rangers to equalise, I thought they sort of controlled it, but then morphed back to being sloppy again. But overall, they get through the tie. They now meet Bruges, which we were looking at that game as we were playing. Bruges were 2-0 down to Salzburg. Looked like we're going to play Salzburg in fair play to Bruges. They come back 1-3-2. I'll be honest, I didn't expect Rangers to get to the playoff. The playoff for the Champions League. When I seen Panathinaikos, I thought that might be a bridge too far. We've navigated that. We've navigated Pilzen, who I didn't think were great, but we come up against Bruges. We've played Bruges in pre-season. I'll caveat with it was a pre-season friendly. The team we had in the park was last season's team, if not worse. Bruges again. It's pre-season. But they're a level above Scotia Bruges. They're a very good footballing team, Bruges, the way they move the ball. I watched them against Celtic last year. I thought Celtic were lucky to get a point off them last year. I thought they played Celtic off the park. I fear for us a wee bit next week. I know the home games at Ibrox next week, and we need a bit of momentum behind the team. But what's your thoughts on Bruges in the next round, Scotia? Because it is a level up on the two teams we've played, I would say. And you're on mute, Scotia. Brilliant. Well done.
Apologies. Starting off early. What I was trying to say there was, before I got into Bruges, one of my disappointments with the game on Tuesday night there was, like you say, Pilzen weren't a great team. Yeah. And I thought we've got the opportunity to go and show something, particularly after the game at the weekend in the league, where it was not good by all accounts, because I left very early because I wasn't happy with what I was seeing.
Didn't blame you.
So that was my biggest disappointment for it, and because I was feeling after the Pilsen game, there was 3 flashing Pana games, and there was after the Pilsen game at Ibrox, they're going like, right, okay, let's see what we're maybe trying to do in Europe here, or how we're going to play, how it'll work in Europe, and then it kind of comes all crashing down again. Yeah, Bruges are going to be a tough prospect. Like yourself, I've obviously seen them at the pre-season friendly, but I don't take anything out of that game in terms of how that's going to impact the game on Tuesday night or the following Wednesday. Did see them a couple of times last season. Watched them in the kind of later stages against it in Atalanta and Aston Villa, who they eventually get put out with. Watched those games. Obviously, the Aston Villa games, they get beaten both legs. They looked very good in the games against Atalanta. They have lost some of the sort of standout players in terms of players moving on from last year. But they are going to be a very tough opposition. I mean, I think we had the option of either them or the winner of the ties that Benfica were in.
Mm-hmm.
Now, wasn't sure which one I would have preferred. I think they were both very, very tough asks for where we are. But like you say, we've got the opportunity to go out and give it a go, and hopefully something happens that kind of shows us that the way we played against Pilzen and Ibrox, that can give us an opportunity to get into the Champions League. Because that would be quite. It would be quite nice, but then now what I've seen of Rangers so far,
you'd be shitting yourself going into the games.
Actually, maybe not. Yeah. So we'll wait and see. Good that we've got the opportunity. We'll be there on Tuesday night. In fact, you won't, Ali. So you'll miss the return of the Champions League music on Tuesday night. That's back. It's now officially the Champions League, I think, the way UEFA look at it.
Yes, Mr. Dixon has taken my ticket, so brace yourself. He will be sitting in my seat for the game. Yes, I will be able to watch the game, don't worry. But yes, no, I'm away on holiday, so I can't get to the game. But I have heard the Champions League music many, many times at Ibrox. Not good memories recently, if you want to say, when we got into the Champions League. But yeah, Ross, I mean, the game against Pilsen, getting through there, it was worth €5 million, I think, to Rangers just get through that tie, regardless of what happens against Bruges. They've given themselves a chance, Rangers. It's over two legs against a good Bruges team. They are a good team. But they've got a chance, Rangers. I prefer the home tie being the second leg, if I'm being honest, to bring a team back. The way it's gone this season, we've played the home ties first. Thanks very much, Clean Tube, for the very kind donation from sunny Dunbar. Sunny here as well in Glasgow. But yes, Bruges, Tuesday night. The only thing I'll say is Rangers need to... They need some sort of result on Tuesday night for me to go out to Bruges. I think going out there will be difficult. I think we can score out there, but Ibrox Tuesday night, under the floodlights, Champions League music, all the things that goes with it, stranger things have happened to Ibrox. Rangers are usually good at Ibrox in European nights, because we have seen Bruges this year, which is a weird one to say in terms of we've played them already this season. But what's your thoughts going into this tie against Bruges? I said to Carney in the post-match all night, I think it's a bridge too far for us. I don't think we'll go through. Bruges will be the favourites, but they've given themselves a big chance, Rangers. And if they can, it's worth, as Scotia says, the best part of £40 million to Rangers, which is mega in terms of transfers, etc. But what is your thoughts on Bruges in the next round? Do you think it is a bridge too far for Rangers?
Honestly, potentially. I know that the game we played them, it was a pre-season game. They looked very good in the counter-attack. I remember watching that game and going, yeah, they've got a good few players. Scored a cracking goal as well, I'm pretty sure, at Ibrox. But I know that Panathinaikos maybe wasn't quite Bruges level, but they've shown that when it's the first leg at Ibrox and that pressure's on, they can perform. So it is completely in our hands to go and make a good first dent in the first leg. Ideally, you go over there with a few goals cushion, which I know is a big ask. I reckon if it's a 1 each or a 0-0, I don't know if that's enough for me, lads. I won't lie. So for me, we need to just be a bit ruthless in front of goal, taking our chances, simple things that we ask for, and we'll go over there and we'll give it a best shot. But listen, it's a fair achievement, to be fair, for the team so far. And, you know, it is early in the season, earlier than usual, than we would usually be playing these games, I'm pretty sure. But we all know what we're after. We're after that big 40 million. So this is the final hurdle in this Champions League qualification stage. What happens after that, I don't want to think about, to be honest. I'll look at that 40 million, I'll glim at that for a second, and we can worry about the results later. Just something to get us over the line. And a decent first half as well would be nice. There's been so many times, how many times you sat back and went, that first half was dreadful. Like, honestly, it's a wee bit of consistency building. You'd hopefully have had that by now. We've not really been glimmered with some outstanding passages of football. But Saturday is the next opportunity for that. But Tuesday will be a big chance to give us that hopefully that positive showing. But only a man can dream. Only a man can dream.
Yeah. I just think it'll be a hard game. I look at the teams we've played in terms of Panathinaikos, Pilzen. They've not been great in front of goal, these teams, and they've had a lot of shots against Rangers. I just think a Bruges team could be clinical. I just thought in the friendly, and I'll caveat whether it was a friendly, just the way they moved the ball about Bruges, I just think they're a level above us. But I hope Rangers can go out there and prove us wrong. I really do. Like I say, they'll have
Ali,
the
on
back.
that. Sorry, what I was going to say, Ali, on that. I was like, watching you and Carney do your post-match reaction, but I was also pulled up the last tail end of the Bruges. Who were they playing? Midweek. Salzburg. I watched the end of that game, and yeah, they did look pretty good in the attack and stuff. But they were at home. They were chasing the game to go through, so that probably slightly weighs it in that side of the scales, kind of things, and how they were playing. But yeah, they did kind of give me concerns. Watching that game while I was listening to you.
Yeah, it's just the way they move the ball and the quickness they move the ball and the movement off the ball. I just think they're a very good footballing team. But as you say, you never know. It's at Ibrox. Anything can happen at Ibrox. Nothing would shock me, to be honest, with Rangers. It would be the biggest Rangers thing ever to go out and beat Bruges 2-0 or something and go to St Mirren on the Sunday, whatever it is, and drop points or something. That'd be the biggest thing ever. In fact, on that as well, what was your thoughts, Ross, on... Obviously, we heard if Rangers get through Pilsen, the St Mirren game was going to be postponed. They backtracked on it, and the game is now going ahead. Do you think the game is going ahead because we have made a hooring arse of the start of the league, to be polite about it?
Potentially, yeah. I do think the Giga red card has not helped us at all with that potential Old Firm. So I do think there was probably a wee bit in that, but I do agree you need some bit of confidence going into the Old Firm. It's been a pretty horrendous start to the season, and I just feel we need as much games as possible just now. As well as that, I don't think we've not given Fernandez enough time to throw him into an Old Firm. I don't know if I'd feel particularly good if we just threw him straight in against Celtic. So we've not done ourselves many favours. But the one favour we are doing is giving ourselves that game against St Mirren, give ourselves that wee bit of momentum. Just to come up, back down to earth by the current state of affairs, it seems. But again, with very early predictions for the Old Firm, it wouldn't surprise me if we win. It would not surprise me if we win at all, because it's just what seems to, these big occasions. But there's plenty to come before then, plenty of sleepless nights before then, that's for sure. But I'm happy it's going ahead. But I will say though, St Mirren, they're not going to be an easy team to play against. They had our number last season, so it's hopefully I'm seeing it as a chance to get minutes in the legs. But I swear, if it's more drop points, Ali, then I don't know what I'll do.
Yeah, it's Scotia. I said to you in the pub about the St Mirren game when it was going to be postponed, and I said to you I didn't agree with it because I thought we need as much momentum as possible going into that Old Firm, and potentially at that point, because before we played Dundee, I said if we win the games we could beat Celtic and then go ahead of them psychologically. I understood why the club thought about doing it in terms of if they get into the Champions League, it's worth £40 million for the club. But just on a footballing basis, I thought they should be playing the game. So what's your thoughts on them kind of changing their tune in that game and they were all of a sudden playing it? Is it because of Giga Jenk Scotia, or do you think it's because we're so far behind the league?
It's both for me. Definitely both, I think. Obviously, Giga being suspended for it would not help, given the way that we've started so far in defence. But I also think because, we would go into that game with the prospect of we lose it, we're 10 points behind before September starts. Yeah. So that's like I said earlier, it's been one of the poorest starts a season I can remember in terms of performances, the mistakes we're making and the results we're getting. It's not like we're even scraping through ties and getting points. Well, I know we're getting 2 points on the board, but of the 2 games that we've played in the league so far, those were 2 that I was looking at and going like, right, 6 points minimum. We're already 4 behind, so they need to play it. There's no other way. And like Ross has said, they need to. I think the team needs to play more together. They're still not comfortable playing with the tactics that Martin is looking to implement, and possibly come on and speak to that later on. But yeah, we definitely need to play it. I agree with you, and a lot of people I've spoke to have said the same. Get it done. A few people that I've spoke to have mentioned like the harking back a few years now, but when Rangers were playing Thursday, Sunday constantly, it suited them. Playing football all the time seemed to suit them, and yeah, I can definitely understand where they're coming from, although it is a completely different team now.
Yeah, and I think if you ask footballers, I think they prefer to play football and training during the week, so they'd prefer to play whether it is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then on the Saturday, the Sunday. So yeah, I'm happy with playing that game, but I agree with Ross. It's not a foregone conclusion against St Mirren, especially that we're playing in the league and they're a well organised team, St Mirren, and we struggle to break down well-organised teams. So we will wait till we get to that. It's still a week or so down the line till we get to St Mirren. But yeah, just before we kind of go on to players in and out, the European squad was announced today, Scotia, in terms of players pulled out, players put in. Moore and Asgard were put in, and Jeffy and Cortez were pulled out. What is your thoughts on that? And also linking it in, Scotia, with Jeffy apparently away for potentially 5 to 6 million euros, which I think, I've said it also off camera. I don't know if they've been watching Jeffy or somebody else. But if we get Jeffy off the books for 5 million, me and Carney said we would carry him to Brazil. And Bluebells are Blue, thanks very much for the kind donation as well. But what's your thoughts on Cortez and Jeffy being left out, and Jeffy potentially on his bike?
Yeah, I think the changes kind of make sense to me, more so the Jeffy one, for the fact that this bid for Palmeiras has come in, and looks like it's fairly concrete as far as we can tell. Well, the fact that he's been excluded from the team kind of even gives more solidity to the fact that he's probably going. Yeah, I can understand it. And Cortez, it's not really worked for him so far.
What do we do with him?
I don't know. I mean, he's an off big outlay. What was it, about 5.5, 6 million euro?
4.5 million or something. Yeah,
is it 4.5? So a big outlay, and it's not really worked for us. I was thinking back. It's one of these ones. 2 Brazilian players, or South American players. Sorry, Cortez is what, Colombian. Yeah. Coming in, and it's one of these ones where I think I look back and all the South American players that we've had, they tend to do well with a team that's doing well, and this team hasn't been doing well, really. Particularly the Martin team, but even last season, apart from Europe, we haven't doing great in the league and things, and it's never worked out. I look back to players like Emerson, Rosenthal, Amato. It never really kind of clicked for them. Amato probably more so than most.
I liked Amato.
That's another. Yeah, I did like Amato as well. There's probably more cult kind of likeness to that than anything. But yeah, not great. So in terms of Jeffy being left out, yep, can understand it, because it does look like he's further off. On the fact that he's further off, like you say, 6 million euros returns brilliant. For him, really brilliant turnaround. But the way I look at Jeffy is, I think I said earlier in the season that, Jeffy I would give another year. I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't be bothered allowing him another year to kind of settle in and develop. But given the money that's on offer, I take that straight away. But it doesn't help. I think at the minute that where he's playing in defence, who he's playing next to in defence, and the way the system's working, that inverted kind of fullback, it's not really clicking for him. It's not his game. I don't think this season he's had the best. I thought last season, like Ross mentioned earlier, his attacking output was a lot better. He was had put in some really good balls last season. This year we've not really seen any of that so far. I know he's only played a couple of games, started a couple of games, but no, if that offer's true, then I would bite your hand off at it. But it gives us a big issue of left backs. we need something in the door.
It definitely gives us a
And
big
as
issue.
well, Ali, I think I've not seen this, but before we started, I thought I heard you mention
Robbie Fraser.
Ross, that Robbie Fraser's away. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
he's waiting on Fairman on a permanent. Aye, he's gone.
Aye, we definitely need left backs in because obviously Redmond isn't in the manager's plans.
Yeah. So and Ross. So Jeffy looks like he's going £5-6 million. I mean, we spent what £400,000 on him or something. You're getting 10 times your money for him. Plus, that's good business for a guy that most of the Rangers support don't rate, and I don't think Russell Martin rates either. So if we can get that money in for him, a couple of million for Yilmaz potentially, and obviously young Robbie Fraser's away. But now that leaves the left back slot. There's nobody there. And you look at going into Tuesday with Touch and Bruges, would we see the return, and it doesn't work, of Aaron's at left back? Because who else do you play there?
I think it looks like it. It definitely looks like it for me. Unless you go 3 at the back and go completely gung ho, it looks like it's going to be Aaron's at left back. Which I know that Russell Martin says he's done all right there. We know what needs to be done. And as I say, no regrets going into this window. If we have the money there, please spend it. Because we've done not bad so far, spending money. So I just hope that money can be spent in the right areas. With Jeff, all the very best to him. A young lad, keep it Scotland. For me, gives it his all. He gives you a lot of energy down the wing. He's very, very decent in attack. He loves getting forward, and he's got some injury on him, to be fair, especially getting up the park. Obviously going to Palmeiras, a club who just recently the Club World Cup quarter-finalist, got papped out by Chelsea, who went on to win the tournament. So it's a good move for the lad. It's you can't ask so much more from his point of view, but that is how we want the transfer business to work. Fair play, actually, in fact, goes to Clement for bringing it in. That's him. You look at the likes of Jeff Day and Igaman, great bit of business, brilliant bit of business, and I hope this is a potential example to Russell Martin not to underestimate the value of looking elsewhere. I know that he's very much looked at the Championship or even just in England, as his main kind of pool of ways buying players from. You can get some gems in there. As much as Jeff Day maybe hasn't came up to the quality we'd have hoped for, there's clearly some money there. So it's definitely one to not write off. I know it's his first season in Russell Martin, but definitely looking elsewhere and maybe getting these wee bargains is going to do us good in the future. It's going to, ultimately that's the transfer strategy what I go down. So it does leave a big gaping hole, one that I'm sure Aaron's is not too happy to see. But that's Russell Martin. I'd hope can crack the code, whatever it might be. Whether you say if we win against Bruges, is it literally just a case of forking out a good amount on one or a decent amount on two? I'd probably go with the latter. I do think two is definitely needed. I know it's maybe not the most glamorous signings in the world, but we will appreciate it in the long run if we strengthen the defence properly. And yeah, you never know. It might even be Diamande at left back. We saw it last season. You might have, as we saw in the comments, Kieran Dowell when at left back. There'll be somebody kicking about who can put in a shift. But yes, there's serious left backs needed.
Yeah, and it looks like Jeffty's are going to be away. It'll be interesting if he plays tomorrow, Jeffty. I know Russell Martin said in his press today, Big Rahman for STV was asking him about Jeffty on his bike, and he said, well, he was at training today. Big Rahman got absolutely nothing out of Russell Martin today. He was asking everything, and he just shot him down. So it was a waste of time him going there today. But it'll be interesting because we've known for weeks we need a left back. Even when Jeffty's been there, we've been saying it for weeks. We need a left back desperately, and we're about to go into a Champions League qualifier with potentially no left back, which isn't a good place to be. And Max Aarons, who we've seen, can't play left back at all. So it'll be interesting what happens. Will Jeffty be there for that game? We don't know, but I just don't think he's good enough, Jeffty. And if we get $5 million for him, good luck to Jeffty. I think he'll do well. Stick a sell-on clause on him or something. He might go on and do well in Brazil, whatever, but I don't think he's got a mentality for Rangers. I don't think he does. And defensively, I think he's woeful. Me and Carney said it way back. We seen it against Union Berlin. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. But players in, players out, Scotia. Players out at the moment. We are majorly struggling. I did see Birmingham City wished Ben Davies a happy birthday on their Facebook the other day or Twitter, and folk were saying, why don't you just buy him as a birthday present? We have a lot of players on our books, Scotia, that we cannot get rid of. Do you think this will run right to the window in terms of teams maybe looking at these players and they'll maybe test Rangers right at the end in terms of maybe a wee loan deal or a very cut price deal on these players, because we are struggling big time to get these players off the books, and we need them off the books because the squad is extremely top heavy at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, that's the Premier League starting tonight. Liverpool are 1-0 up. And so that's kicked off. And when's the transfer window run till the end of September, is it, or the end of August?
No, end of August.
End of August, aye.
I think.
I thought I seen Ryan playing in a text in the group chat saying the end of September. And I was like, but no, end of August. Stuff needs to get in motion. And we've really only get rid of 2 players so far, in McCausland and Proper. And there's a lot more that need to kind of go out the door. I don't know if that's holding us back in terms of bringing players in at the minute. But yeah, we definitely need to get some players out. Like you mentioned there, Ben Davies. I've got a feeling that there must be something going on in the background there, because if there isn't, then Ben Davies is an option.
No, it's an option.
Even though we slated him, but some of his better games for us, I felt, came in European competitions and bigger games. So, unless there's not something going on there, it's a bit strange that he's not featured at all. So you would assume that he's going out the door, but I would like it to be sooner rather than later, because then it leaves us in the bit of pickle chasing about for players and possibly inflated prices as everyone rushes about panicking. But yeah, no, like you say, we definitely need to get a few players out. But a lot of the players that we need to get out, there's no clubs really wanting them. That's a big issue we've got.
Players like Matondo on 20.
I wasn't even thinking of him, but yeah.
Cifuentes as well.
Yeah.
What are we doing with him? So, yes, there's a lot of them, and obviously we need to get players in. There's 2 weeks to go. We've talked about a left back, probably 2 left backs if Jeffrey goes, left centre half, potentially a striker maybe. But again, we've got 3 strikers. Ross, what's your thoughts in the ins and outs at the moment? As I say to Scotia, that's Kevin Thelwell's jobs to try and get these guys off the books. But the problem is these guys are not wanted. There's a reason we can't get rid of them. And I just think it'll run right to the wire with a lot of these guys. I think a lot will go on loan in the last day. Or as I say, a very cut price deal, because teams know Rangers want rid of these guys off the books.
Yep, 100%. There's no playing cards close to the chest here. Rangers know. Teams know exactly what Rangers want. I was looking at the players out. Obviously, you talk about Matondo, Davies, Yilmaz, like Leon King. Obviously we just saw Fraser go out. Something like that. Summer for King. More for his sake. He's a good lad. I would like.
He's on too much money. The problem. Sorry, Ross. The problem with Leon King is he's on a decent wage at Rangers. So if he goes to a team like Dunfermline, he's earning absolutely nowhere near what he's earning at Rangers. So he's got a contract. He's within his right to sit there if he wants and take that money, because he might, the level of team he potentially go to, he'll earn nowhere near what he's on at the moment. So I think he'll be tough to go off the books.
Yeah, no, you're spot on, mate. You're spot on. It is just one of these tricky situations with that. Even like said, like Inciala. For me, Inciala is not a big problem at all. I really like Inciala, but he is one that is clear his future's not at Rangers. I'd like to get him out on loan, because I do think he could be decent for us. For me, the one guy who he means well, there's potentially some value in him. I reckon we get something for Barami, lads. I do reckon there's some money out there for Barami. He's a player who, ideally, when there's players coming off the bench, you'd want players to strike a bit of fear into the opposition. For me, Barami unfortunately hasn't done it. It'd be the same with Cortes if it didn't have the contracts that he currently has. I do think we could potentially make some money for Barami. He's obviously Albania international. He's had a few spells. If there's anyone looking to track Callum McGregor down, that's your man. That's my advert for him. He's the Callum McGregor tracker. But he's a guy for me who I'd be looking to get off the books. I know it's a bit harsh, kind of singling one guy out, I know, but kind of looking through the team, you're right as well with Cifuentes. That is a lot of players there who we'd ideally want out, but Rangers haven't been successful enough to ask for big fees at all, or for people wanting them at all. So I won't lie in saying it might be another situation that we look back at with like so what happened with Cantwell. Cantwell went for absolute buttons. Morelos, Kent, etc. Barisic went for buttons. But if there's anything that we need to learn from this needs to be the last time it happens. This is the last time that we can accept to let players go for absolute buttons. But to do that, we need to start winning things, which is easier said than done at Rangers in the last few years, that's for sure. But this needs to be the last time that we come to this tricky situation where nobody wants to buy our players. So a few shiny things, one and that might change that. But we've shot ourselves in the foot, and we will potentially pay the price of some very, very low fees come September 1st.
Yeah, I'd just be interested in the last day of the transfer window, what happens with these guys in terms of are they still going to be there till January? So we'll just need to wait and see. But Scotia, the top line's been well talked about in terms of Dessers, my pal Danilo, and Igaman up front as well. Dessers went off during the week, which looked a bad injury. As soon as I seen it, I thought, oh, that could be him out for absolute months. And then we started talking about we'll probably need to bring a replacement in terms of even a loan signing if Danilo and Igaman still stay. We've been told today by Russell Martin that it wasn't as bad as first feared. He will miss the game on Saturday, but he's hopeful he may make the game on Tuesday against Bruges. What's your thoughts on the front line? Because are you comfortable with A3 if the window shuts? Igaman's a guy, we don't see him in training, we don't know him, but does he want to be here? I know there's been a lot of rumours about him in terms of leaving to go to France, etc. What's your thoughts on that front line, Scotia? Would you be comfortable with that three if the transfer window slams shut tomorrow?
Yeah, I think I said earlier on in the season, I said I would be okay with Igaman and Dessers as being the front options, but I think my opinion's kind of shifting. It'll probably shift it'll always shift game to game with Dessers. Because one week he'll do something, I'll be like, all right, no, I'll keep going, and then I'm just a sucker for kind of that working for me. But then you seen him during the game on Tuesday there, he wasn't great even before his injury. Nothing was kind of really sticking. So I think we do, and particularly you mentioned the Igaman. I mean, your pal that we met in the way to the game, Panathinaikos game, that said that Igaman doesn't like the people in Scotland and doesn't.
Did he like the people and did he like the weather? That's what he said.
The weather, aye. So, and you hear that and you just think, he's just talking nonsense. But then you're like, wait a minute, it might not be far.
And he was Moroccan as well. That guy, Scotia as well.
So yeah, I think we definitely do. I mean, we've heard this. We'll need to take Russell Martin's word that Dessers will be back next week, but I've heard that line trotted out
7 to 10 days.
Managers. Yeah, so I think we definitely do need a striker. I even thought I would be okay with going in with Dessers and Igaman earlier in the season, but I still wanted us to be looking for someone. I mean, I watched that boy Bowie last night for Hibs, had a cracking game, I thought. And
what a goal, by the way.
The goal was good, but I thought he had a really good game, and I'm like, right, why can't we have a striker? I know it's one game in isolation, but it feels like we can't have a striker like that at the minute. So yeah, we definitely need someone up front as well, I think, regardless of what happens.
Ross, what's your thoughts on a striker situation? That was one of the areas I thought we needed to go and get a decent number 9 for this season. We're stuck with the same guys from last season. Igaman, you thought after last year, if he stays, might go to another level, but has his head been turned? He's been injured. We've seen him a couple of games ago. He looked a bit heavy, to be honest. Danilo, as we know, has started most games isn't up to it. We cannot rely on Danilo for the whole season. He's simply not good enough. And Dessers blows hot and cold up front. He's not been great recently. So what is your thoughts on that front three? I still think we need somebody else there.
Yeah, I would agree. I think I genuinely think we've got a lot of talent in Igaman, like a lot of talent that could potentially be wasted out in the right. That's the one thing we've seen all the majority of the games. But I reckon if we're not going to use Igaman, we need to sell him now because his value is just going to go down. Just now, his value is probably decently high. Clubs will look at him and say, right, he's not been playing because he's been late back to pre-season. He's coming back into the swing of things. His value, if we're not going to play him, his value's not going to get much higher. Unless if he's just going to be sat on the bench. So, as much as I hate to say it, because I personally, mate, I want the new Igaman, as my striker for the season. He'd be my number 9. But I do think we're leaving it a bit late. And if there's clubs looking for Igaman, sell him, strike while the iron's hot. We'll see what happens with Dessers with his injury, because in a strange straight world, he's not the problem for Rangers. Dessers, he can score goals for us. It's the Igaman situation for me. We need a bit of transparency there. If he's going, sell him, get somebody in. If not, please try and mould him in, because you've got a player there. A front three of Ant-Man, Gassama and Igaman is exciting. I'll go there and say it, that could potentially win you a league, because there's quality, there's a good bit of youth in there, there's value, there's whatever, there's goals. I'm genuinely very excited by that front three, but we've not seen it. And are we gonna see it in time? I don't know. So if I was Russell Martin, I'd look to. I know he's not had, by the sounds of his press conference today, he's not had time with him. I'd make his mind up decently quick, because there'll be teams out there, as we've seen, who will potentially look at Igaman, but the value is potentially going to drop. I think maybe. So please play him at striker, but if not, let's get him sold, unfortunately.
Yeah, I like Igaman. I liked what I've seen from last season. He's raw at times, but he can do things that other players can't for me. Unpredictable as well. I'd like to see him in this Rangers team. And it's just been unfortunate that with the transfer rumours, late back, has an injury, etc. He's just not started. And we're in the middle of August already, and he's not played for Rangers at all, really. And we've been relying on Dessers. And I agree, Dessers isn't the problem. I think Dessers a good option, scored lots of goals for Rangers last season, but I just think we need somebody else. I really do. If we want to go and potentially challenge for a league title this season, I just think we need better up top, because you all know my thoughts on Danilo. I'm sick of talking about Danilo. I hope he proves me bloody wrong, but I doubt it. But yes, moving on, we have a game tomorrow night, 5:45 again at Ibrox. I think it's on Premier Sports. I'm sure Celtic are playing at the moment in Premier Sports. But yeah, 5:45 Scotia. Alloa come to Ibrox. Alloa are joint top of League One, I think they're in, with 6 points, with I think Hamilton's up there as well. They beat Dundee in the wee League Cup format they were in. That's that wee league they all play in before they come into this round and play Celtic and Rangers and the rest of them. So they beat Dundee. What's your thoughts tomorrow against Alloa? We all had a laugh last year in terms of Queen's Park coming to Rangers. We've seen what happened. Surely lightning can't strike twice. You're on mute again, Scotia, so it struck twice for you.
It has, yes. Lightning can strike twice, people. It can indeed. In fact, it often does. Yeah, I think this game itself is a horrible game for us to have, given how we've started the season. It's not ideal at all, because ideally what you want to be doing is resting a lot of your players that are going to be starting the game on Tuesday night. But I don't think we can afford to be honest. I think you're going to probably see very few changes to the team. Forced ones, obviously, but I don't think there'll be as many changes as you'd maybe expect to see for this game. And it's a horrible one in terms of, if we don't go out and put in a good performance and get a result, then Russell Martin's on a very, very sugary peg. If worse comes to the worst and it's anything like the Queen's Park game, then I would suggest it's probably time to cut your losses straight away there. And I know it's very early, and I feel like I'm being a wee bit harsh because I want Martin to do well. Of course I do, but the way we started the season has kind of got us into that position. So it's a bit of a tough one in terms of that. Alloa are one of those teams that we've came to that agreement with, that we'll be sending their younger players out to, aren't they? I think along with Wraith Rovers and someone else in the third division. They might not want any of our players after the players and see how we're doing, but I'm not. I can't say I'm looking forward to it, to be honest, because it's one of these. It's a lose-lose kind of situation for me almost.
Yeah, it's difficult. I think he will make quite a few changes. I remember when we played Middlesbrough in the pre-season friendly before we played Panathinaikos, we all went, he should play a strong team to try and get a better rhythm going into it. And then we went to Middlesbrough and we looked at the team lineup and went, Christ, what's that?
Yeah, sure.
He really cut it up. So I think he might to a point in terms of this game tomorrow. Can't take it for granted. I know it's Alloa and Rangers should be blowing Alloa apart tomorrow, but as I say, we've been burnt last season with Queen's Park. Ross, what is your thoughts on tomorrow? And give me your team score and first goal scorer.
It needs to be some sort of masterclass for Rangers for me. We can't have this run of games with all due respect, the opposition. We can't keep going back to we're not seeing it. If we can't blow Alloa away, lads, then I'm not feeling hopeful for the season. And I know I'm not in the Russell Martin camp, out nowhere near it, but we need to see something to as you say, lads. Football's born to watch. It is born to watch. We can't come away from Ibrox this amount of times at this early in the season. You've just paid for your season tickets. You've just bought your kits. We need to kick on at some point. So for me, tomorrow is the perfect chance to go on and to put on a bit of a performance. But at the same time, it's, if you come away even a 1-0, we'll get to that when we come to it. Hopefully it's a positive post-match reaction for you all. But we shall see what happens when it hits about 7 o'clock tomorrow, I'm sure. But my team for tomorrow, I'm going a wee bit out there, gents. I won't lie. I was writing it down and I got a wee bit excited. So we've got 3 at the back. We've got Jack Butland in goal. I've got a back 3 of Fernandez, Suter, and Giga. I'm going 5 in the midfield. You've got Gisama on the left, Ant-Man on the right. Then in the middle, you've got Rothwell, Raskin, Cameron. And then 2 up top, Igaman and Danilo. So I think we just need to go there. Just see what it's like. Chucking Igaman straight in there to see how he gets on. But I just feel go there and show that we're Rangers. I know it's kind of, birthday card bumper sticker, but just show what Rangers are about. So I'm going 4-0 Rangers with Raskin first goal scorer. And yes, that's some positivity to kick off your weekend.
Yeah, my team, I would personally play a strongish team because I would like to get us a bit more game time with the players together. I've just got a feeling he might mix it up tomorrow just for this game on Tuesday in terms of what he did against Middlesbrough. I know that was a friendly, and this is an important game in terms of we need to get through it, but I think he might change the keeper. I think Kelly might come back in. I think he might give him some game time. I think it'll be Tav, Giga, Fernandez. We've got to see him. This is a perfect game to see him, so I think he'll play like a centre half. Left back position, he did say Jeffrey's still there, so I've got Jeffrey there. Whether we see him or not, I don't know. If we don't see him, he's gone, definitely. But he did say he was there. My midfield is Connor Barron sitting, and in front of him, folk will love this one, Kieran Double in his position, and Lyle Cameron. And then I've got a front 3. I think young Curtis will come back in. My pal Danilo through the middle. And Mikey Moore will start. I think Mikey Moore will start because he's been at Ibrox for the best part of God knows over a week now. I bet he'll be raring to go, wanting to go. And I would release him. I'd let him start that game. I do think we will see tomorrow Asgard, who he's the one guy I'm desperate to see. I hope he doesn't disappoint me, but looking forward to seeing him. But I think we'll have a few of the big hitters on the bench. I think you'll see your Ant-Man, Gassama, Raskins, etc. I think they'll be in the bench. Igaman, I think we'll see tomorrow. The interesting one is Cortez. Will we see him? Because if he doesn't start Cortez, again, we need to get rid of him, which again is easier said than done. But that's a team I'm going for. I'm going to go 5-0 Rangers. Danilo first goal scorer. Scotia, what's your team scoring first goal scorer?
I've looked at the team I've scribbled down, and it kind of contradicts what I was saying about I don't expect to see many changes, but it wouldn't surprise me if there wasn't many, and equally it wouldn't surprise me if he did change up. Although Ross, I don't think he'll switch to a 3 at the back. From what I've heard of Russell Martin, from what you've seen with other teams, he's very, very determined to play his way, his style, and he doesn't tend to bend or bow to changing things up like the way you would have maybe seen a Clement or particularly a Gio change the team up to kind of suit the opposition you're playing. Which, I don't think he'll do that. I think he'll kind of go with the same type of formation. My team, I am going for Kelly in goals, a back 4 of Aarons, Giga, Suter, and Tav. And being hugely controversial because why not? Why not throw things at the wall? I'm playing Aarons at right back and putting Tav on the left. Let's see how that goes. Let's see how that goes. He may as well. Because
play Giga at left centre half and Suter at right.
Just mirror it. No, not quite, but yeah. Midfield, I'm going for Rothwell, Rice, and Cameron. And then a front 3 of, similar to yours, Ali, Curtis and Moore in the wings. But I'm going to start with George Gentles up front and then probably see Igaman come on for a good portion of the game. That's who I would go with. And I'll go would not be going for a 4 or 5-0 like yourselves. I think it'll be 3-1 Rangers.
Oh, Christ, you think we'll ship a goal?
Aye. Based on what I've seen so far,
it'll be a calamity, won't it?
Yes, I will. Yes, we will. And I'll go Moore first goal scorer.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the boy. He's been touted as a big prospect for Tottenham. He's just signed a new contract with Tottenham. They've got big ambitions for him. I think he'll be wanting to show us what he's all about, and he's got the perfect stage tomorrow against a Alloa team. Let's be honest about it. He should be able to do it then. So, yes, it's all been positive predictions. Whether it comes true, we do not know. But it's back at Ibrox tomorrow night, and Rangers should be winning tomorrow night. So yes, that is us way over the hour mark tonight. So I'd like to thank everyone in the comments tonight. The kind donations as well, much appreciated. And last but not least, my guest for tonight, Mr. Ross McLean. Thanks very much for coming on. Are you going to the game and suffering like myself tomorrow night?
Unfortunately not. I'm on the couch loyal tomorrow to watch the game. I know. I said the 6:15 kickoff's a wee bit of a tricky one, but we'll be watching it nonetheless as always. We will be there to cheer on the lads. But yes, thank you, mate, for today. That was good. Thank you to everyone in the chat as always. And yes, let's go into the weekend with some high hopes for a good performance because it is much needed before a massive game next Tuesday. So yes, enjoy a weekend, everybody, when it comes, and we shall speak to you very soon. Yeah,
it's a bit of an inconvenience, this game being stuck right in the middle, but it's a big game for Rangers. It's a cup game. Rangers have to get through it. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But last but not least, Scotia, thank you very much for your time tonight.
Yes, cheers, Ali. Like you say, it's a bigger game than I would very much like it to be. It shouldn't be this important, but unfortunately it is, I think. At this stage of the season, enjoy it. I think you'll be there by yourself because I'm working tomorrow, so I won't be there. Have to go through what Rangers there.
I actually don't know who's going tomorrow night because I know you are working. Ross is obviously on the couch.
Mr. Carney,
Christ, I know there's others of tickets. Mr. Carney is at Silverstone tomorrow, I think, with his work. I don't think Mr. Haymarch is going either, so it might well be myself. But yes, I'll be there. If it is myself, I will bring a post-match reaction on whatever I see tomorrow. So Yes, it is on Premier Sports tomorrow at 5:45 anyway, if you can't make it, so you can watch it there. But yeah, thanks for the guys' comments, and thanks for Ross and Scotia coming on tonight. We are being Club at 22, the Rangers podcast, and I will be back with a post-match reaction tomorrow. Good evening.